Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. As focused learners, you already know that having the right vocabulary it's a total game changer for clear communication. So today, we're zeroing in on one really specific, kind of funny sounding word: hoarse. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever been to a game and cheered so loudly or maybe belted out your favorite songs at a concert that when you woke up the next morning, your voice was just this rough, barely there croak? Yeah, we've all absolutely been there. That super specific physical feeling in your throat, that scratchy, worn out sound? Well, that is exactly the condition we're looking at today. So, formally speaking, hoarse, and that's spelled Hoarse, is an adjective. It's a describing word we use specifically for a voice that's rough and weakened, maybe a bit raspy or scratchy. And usually this happens because you've either overused your vocal cords or you're just getting over being sick. Actually, notice how the word itself kind of sounds like the condition when you say it. Hoarse. It literally has that breathy, textured quality built right into the way you pronounce it. And this brilliantly illustrates how English builds on a single core idea. Starting from our main adjective, we get the adverb hoarsely, describing how someone is speaking. Then there's the noun hoarseness, which is the actual name of the condition itself. And if you really want to expand your descriptive toolkit, think about near words like raspy, gravelly, or husky. They all paint that exact same vivid auditory picture of a totally worn out voice. To see how this actually plays out in the real world, let's look at this context. Giving speeches had made the candidate's voice hoarse. The whole center of this word's meaning revolves around that vocal strain. Just imagine a politician out on the campaign trail having to speak over massive crowds day after day. That constant repetitive strain on the vocal cords, that's a classic textbook trigger for this exact condition. Or, okay, here's one that's probably a lot more relatable for the rest of us. I'm still hoarse after having a cold recently. A simple winter cold or a really bad bout of coughing can irritate your throat so much that it leaves you sounding all gravelly and scratchy for, a whole week? Even long after your other symptoms have totally disappeared. Which brings us right back to our opening scenario. By the end of the concert, she was cheering in a hoarse whisper. I absolutely love this example because it merges two completely opposite ideas together beautifully. You've got cheering, which is obviously super loud and energetic, paired with a whisper, which is, quiet. It perfectly captures that specific moment when your voice is so completely spent that even your absolute loudest efforts just come out as this raspy little puff of air. So the crucial point is avoiding a really common language trap here. We have hoarse, spelled Hoarse, meaning the rough and raspy voice, versus horse, spelled Horse, the four-legged animal you ride. These are what we call homophones. They sound absolutely identical when you say them out loud, but they mean completely different things, and of course, they have entirely different spellings. You definitely do not want to accidentally write down that you wrote a rough, raspy voice through the fields. All right, now it is your turn to be the word detective. I want you to actively practice this right now so it really sticks in your memory. Wherever you're sitting, can you invent a quick sentence using our word of the day, hoarse? And then, just to challenge yourself, spell out loud the difference between horse, the raspy voice, and horse, the animal. Go ahead, seriously, give it a try. This kind of active, on-the-spot practice is exactly how we lock these concepts in for good. So, to wrap up today's explainer, here is your final punchy takeaway. Hoarse, with an A, means a rough and raspy voice. It is definitely not the animal. But it kind of makes you wonder, right? How many other words do we use every single day that completely change their entire meaning with the swap of just one tiny letter? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.